IH Intuition. Hello, Karen. How are you doing? One of our IH Intuition
Hello, good afternoon.
teachers, DOS, in fact. And so, over to you, Karen, for virtual versus face-to-face reading circles. Do remember to click on start.
Right, okay, start sharing. This one. Excellent. Hello, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Hello. Um, this quick session, I'm just going to be talking about reading circles. In 2011, I set up what was supposed to be just one reading circle, but I actually ended up with two reading circles. And so for this quick little 10 minutes, I'm just going to compare the two. One was a virtual and one was a face-to-face reading circle. Right. Right, so I just want to skip right to the end of this this page, and just to get you talking. What do you think about reading circles, and have you ever belonged to a reading circle? And what style was it in? Did you all read the same book, or did you read different books? So, what is your experience of reading circles? Even in your first language, in your L1, or did you join a reading circle in your L2? So just to get you talking about reading circles. So why did I do this? Well, I enjoy reading. I'm very passionate about reading, and I thought that I could pass it on to L2. That I felt that I could pass on this passion for reading, and that it could encourage learners to read extensively. So looking at extensive reading, this is reading for pleasure. It's reading in your free time, and it's reading in a second language. I think that we had a speaker earlier on. I do apologise, I've forgotten his name, but he was talking about reading in Spanish, and that's something that I have also done. I One of the ways that I learned Spanish was through reading books and reading graded readers. So I wanted to encourage the students that I had them for a brief moment in the week, I had them for 1 hour in the week, and I wanted to encourage them to develop their skills in their L2 by reading. So, right, what did I do next? So, I hit upon a major factor for most of my students, and the big factor was time. So I was saying to my students, oh, I'd really like a face-to-face reading group. We've got this extensive library, we've got all these books. Let's have a face-to-face 1 hour reading group. And they all said, we don't have time. We don't have time to do this. So I said, right, okay, let's set up an online Google group, and let's also have a face-to-face Google group, a face-to-face group and a Google group. So I set up the two, and I ran them and administrated both for a 3 month period, and then I stopped and I said, what's working, what's not working, where do I go from here? So we've got a face-to-face and we've got an online group. Which do you think was more successful, and in which group do you think was able to demonstrate the most learning? So could we have the poll now? Yeah. So out of the two, virtual reading circles or face-to-face, which do you think I was able to see the most learning in? Ah, gosh, it's a bit split. Were you going for face-to-face? Oh, oh. This is interesting, very interesting. I think this is quite relevant with regards to the fact that we're actually in an online conference at the moment, and there are face-to-face conferences out there, and so it's quite relevant. Right. I think we've all voted. Excellent. So you're going for face-to-face, but you still think there's a great deal of learning to be done online, and I actually happen to agree, strongly agree with that. But let's see what happened with the groups. Right, well, the results of after 3 months, with the face-to-face, I did have less participants. So I had 3 participants in the face-to-face, and on the online reading group, I had 10 participants. So there were a lot more online than there were face-to-face, but The 3 participants in the face-to-face attended almost every session. They were passionate about reading. We spoke for, it was supposed to be an hour. We would normally speak for an hour and a half. And when I asked them what they felt they'd learnt, they have very positive responses. They said, I've learnt new vocabulary, I've learnt everyday vocabulary, I've learnt vocabulary in context. And they also said it was very useful to have an extra hour of speaking. It wasn't just reading that they were developing, it was also their speaking skills as well. So the 10 participants, yeah, they reported that they enjoyed reading my Sunday posts. I used to put a little post on every Sunday about directing them towards what they could read, but nobody ever replied. It was very sad. Nobody ever replied in those 3 months. So it was difficult to judge whether or not anybody had learned. And that was the thing that I really felt about online, was that I didn't feel, I felt as if I had less control over the learning. Yes, I think, yeah, perhaps blended reading groups is the way forward. Perhaps you can have both. Some very interesting comments. Right, so in conclusion, I've said this in a controversial manner, that I don't think teachers are going to be replaced by iPads, and of course replaced is the important word here. We saw the hour from was it IHTOC60 with the iPads? Fantastic opportunity for the teachers and for the learners, but there's still a passionate teacher behind that iPad, so we're not going to be replaced. But I think that there is a great deal to be said for the virtual platform, but nothing beats a proper get-together. So yeah, I think a lot of people are saying we should do both, and perhaps, yes, that's perhaps the way forward, is to have those 3 participants also within the 10 participants online, and say, right, okay, there's a face-to-face opportunity, but there's also an opportunity online. Gosh, there's a lot of talking going on. Brilliant. Well, yeah, I think it is a little bit controversial. Right. That's actually, it was a very short presentation. We have come to the end. Yes. Sorry, what do you mean, Hannah? A summarizer can summarize.
I think she means online, that people, if you have a face-to-face discussion, then you can summarize that and post it online for the people who are following the reading group online, so that you can blend the virtual reading circle with the online, with the face-to-face on circle.
Excellent. Fantastic idea. Okay, right. I'm gonna.
Karen, before you do, if you just, in the files box here that's appearing, your article is here. If you want to just quickly explain that to people, they can click on your name and download the file.
Right, excellent. Yes, this is a Karen Reading Circles article. This is an article about L2 reading, and it's the sort of article that I was reading that got me interested in creating reading groups, and it's about how vital reading groups can be to those who struggle with literacy. It's actually an English for additional language, as an additional language kind of article. It's all about sort of inner city London and setting up reading groups for those who don't have English as their first language. I have to say, I think I sent this upside down, and when I checked on the blog, the article was upside down, so I do apologise. I think you can go in and turn it up the right way if you do wish to read.
You can, that's true.
No, that's actually my fault. I should have uploaded it the right way round.